John Wanoa here. Kia ora, Bundy. How are you, mate?
Good, thank you.
I've got these documents ready to send to you, and with the videos to go with it to explain everything. I just wanted to ask you one thing. Which block of land have you picked out? I'm putting it in the writ warrant, or you can always write it in on the part that the land blocks I've put that we're seizing. That's like Cook Street will fire us off with the finance from that.
Yeah.
That's a long-standing one with the Manukau title. We're seizing the Manukau Company title in Scotland.
Yes.
That's the one, that's the papal bull is tied up with. Those Scots have got it covered right over, and we can break into that this way with the four chiefs, you four. You Manahi, Kingy's got to go in for the, he's King Edward, Queen Victoria Trust. He's got to be in there to grab that one at the same time. But the main one is that Scottish Rite title. They are pulling out of Westminster. They want to go into the EU Parliament. They're going to leave. But they can't take those titles. All those titles belong to Westminster, and we fill in the void. Right? I've got you right at the top end to drive this thing, because no one's proficient as you to follow what I'm saying in detail of the native title. And we're claiming, Manahi will claim the Manukau Moriori title. That's the one that the Scots have used, because they are not deeds of truth. They are the opposite. They are deeds of myth. That's their deed of myth and information gathering. So all the information they gathered for all the native lands in the world comes under this Scottish Rite, that we have a legitimate claim to be the second party to the King William first party in a two-party private contract with that flag. The flag is legal now. We've already gone through that process, but it's the information that's been put together to make an instrument over the land to make money for the bank. Okay, you get that? I think you've got how that works. And that's land title is the 1834 flag at Kororareka, right? I've joined that title through Pomare to Clendon in Okiato to Auckland Province title. The name still appears on that title with Refa Manukau receipted, that sold the land from England to Te Waikato Wharahere Manukau there in Edinburgh with the Manukau Company, registered there from Roy and Wood lawyers, conveyancing lawyers. I've got all that together in this writ warrant, that we claim that title. The other title is the Clendon, the Rogan Judge, right? The Rogan Judge is on the same documents that links Okiato Native Court to Auckland Province Native Court to Whakawhitira Native Court at the bottom of Hikurangi Mountain, right? So that's that court there that went to Gisborne, which is the Native Court now. This is, I'm talking about the Maori Native Court has got the map. You'll see the map there of the East Cape with the years on the map. And it's got 1831 at Rangitukia Tiki Tiki, and then the rest are 1837, the death of King William, and the Queen Victoria from 1837 onwards. But this one outstanding on its own is 1831, Tiki Tiki. That is the St. Mary Church. That was the first church from England to be put there, right? to the church in Parnell, where the government came from Okiato down to Waitamata, and that's the St. Mary's Church that's on Parnell Road, that they slid the Catholic Church next to it. So that was 2008 when the Pope signed with the Queen to merge the papal bull title of the Church of Catholic with the Church of England, and that's where you understand that, Manahi understands that, that's the first title of the birth of Clenden's ship of Admiralty, the Fortitude that went to Hokianga first. He sold the lands in 1830 while King William was there, and earlier, but he sold the lands in Hokianga first, where he was going to set up the Parliament, and then transferred to Okiato in Russell. Those same titles was all the way from 1830 to 1834, and then he opened up the court with Busby on the 20th of March 1834, and the flag of New Zealand started from there to 1840. So we are only going from 1831 to 1834. We're not going any further from there because the 1835 got mixed up with the Treaty of Waitangi, right? The Treaty of Waitangi belongs to the Maori. We're breaking off from the Maori and leaving the Maori there, going with their government, with Bill English, and now we sit with the Moai Crown straight into the Scottish Rite in Edinburgh. You'll notice that Prince Philip has resigned as the Commander-in-Chief of the Royal British Navy. You see, they're watching what's happening with us. We're going to clean them out with the flag. But we'll get to this. This is big stuff. It's all on Facebook. I've got it all on Facebook. All these documents are already floating out there now, and the videos. But I'll put them together and send them to you and Manahi, Kingi, and Jim. Jim will take up the side of the Toi Kairako at the east coast to Hikurangi. He's got all that covered to Mount Taranaki and to Mount Cook, South Island. The Hikurangi Mountain is next to the Whakawhetira Native Court. That was the first court that did the birth certificate titles, right, in 1831. So they started, the British started the birth, B-E-R-T-H, of Clenden's ship at Hicks Bay. And then he walked around the east coast and round and round and collected everybody up and their maraes to go, and they put all the maraes together in Whakawhetira. You'll see that on the map, all the arrows pointing to Whakawhetira. And those historic map with those years on it. It just shows who was there first. The Cook Island was there first. That's you're covering the Toi Karaka, the Cook Island side from the East Cape up there to Te Hapua, right? So this is what happened that's 1831 covered with the birth certificate land title, right? Then you go to 1833, King William IV acknowledged that Captain Cook founded New Zealand, and that was in 1833 to James Busby. So he acknowledged that this country was founded by Cook, right? In 1833, then came 1834 with the flag. That's all we had to worry about, because all we're doing here now is forcing this writ warrant straight over the land, and we're starting from Cook Street to salvage that one and get the bank going.
Well, good. So I hope you've got the 2 minutes and
that's all in this writ warrant. That's all in the writ warrant. But the thing is, the whole country, it's the land the Scots are standing on, right?
Yeah.
So I've got it.
So anything up here will be in my
Yeah. No, you take over the land after that in whatever areas or whatever. It's your 4 Paramount chiefs, right?
Yeah.
There's a big difference between Ariki and Paramount. Paramount is commercial. You're now the legitimate commercial landowner under a Paramount is equal in status to the king.
Okay.
On the legal documents.
Beautiful.
Everything we do is paramount. I'm not a paramount. You fellas, the older ones are.
Yeah.
And that's all that fits the documents. Don't forget about all the fuck up and everything else. That's what I've chosen because that's on the record with the Manukau carving. You'll see the carving of the 4 main tribes that Mohi Manukau put together. But he didn't know. I spent a long time with him, over 6 years at his home, going through that carving that this Pākehā fella found in the Kaipara, and it was growing hairs all the time. He looked at it, it just kept on growing, and he got frightened and took it to Mohi Manukau, and Mohi cleaned it all up, and then we went right up. I can detail everything on that. I have put it on the video, explaining that it's got a parliament on it, the parliament and the god, the Atua, for Napu is the head of that, and he said Napu is the head of it, and you got Te Arawa, Aotea and Waikato. I don't know how Waitai fits in, but it's on there as well. Yes. But there's only 4 main tribes, and that's the main ones. The Waikato one is the Waikato chief in England, him and Hungihika. So Hungihika being more Cook Island on your side, you're covering him in England, in Edinburgh. So you're going to be going there to claim to stand there when they clean all the rubbish and the Lords out of Westminster, and we're going to petition King Ernest Augustus in there because he's still the King of Britain, UK, Hanover. They can't put another King of Britain or King of England in, or Queen of England or Queen of Britain, because there's already a king there. Right? So we've got him as our oath to keep the commerce going. We have to stay with the commerce to hook on and get our slice out of the Scottish rights. They've got all the money, like Donald Trump's a Freemason, right? Donald Trump is going to take all the gold out of the Philippines, and the Philippines president has put a writ warrant. He's put a writ warrant, like what I'm doing, I'm copying his writ warrant over his own land to seize back with this admiralty the gold that's stuck and hidden in the land that belongs to the Scottish rights, right? You see? So that's why the Queen is working with Trump. She's not the head of state here now. I've got all that on there too. She's not a head of state, so they've got nothing. We've got a flag. They got nothing to go on. They've got absolutely nothing to go on legally on paper. They cannot refute this 42-page writ warrant, and what Karen Hoodies has put together and exposed the World Bank, which is the lawyer for the World Bank. I've got all that on the writ warrant as an extra 15 pages, plus the writ warrant 3 pages of President Rodriguez Duterte of Philippines, and 3 pages of his writ warrant, just to cite it. I've cited all those pages, and so that we can use those instruments to go straight into the Freemasons. Because Mohi Manukau, he's not supposed to tell me any of this, and he's sworn to secrecy. Even his family doesn't know. Nobody knows. That's why he sat in the corner in Titi Marae and Waitangi Marae and said nothing. You know what he was doing? He was selling the Manukau lands. He was working with his uncle John Rogan, which is the name on those titles, in the courts in Helensville. So John Rogan and him were staking out the land. See, the magistrate court is the Crown's real estate agent. Yeah? And this fellow, Lieutenant William Simons, put together that Manukau Company, registered company himself in Edinburgh, Scotland. And that's how they started off this Admiralty magistrate. When they do a court in the Queen's Bench Court, they go to the back into the magistrate court, the King's Bench Court, and they make it in the private. That's what you call private. That flag is private, nobody's business. What we say, nobody can have any business in as a third party. That means Bill English, the Maori party, the Maori everything, is a third party to a two-party private contract. They can't touch us. The whole world is watching what I'm doing online, and that's admissible evidence in any court.
Man, you're so clear,
Yeah.
The explanation is brilliant.
Yeah, no, so I'm saying that on video so you can understand. I think you're picking it up, but Manahi got it just like that, because when I said to him, the church in Tiki Tiki has had the Reverend Wanoa, Toroa Wanoa, and the Reverend Carr, the C-A-R-R, converted to K-A-A. That's my mate Rapata Carr. He's up to speed with this, and he's telling the story about Ngāti Pro stealing the Mount Hikarangi and changing the whakapapa of Toi Kairako. They threw off the 3 kids and kept one, and they put the title of the Ngāi Tahu down the South Island from that Hikarangi mountain. So to get the South Island, all those Pākehās down there on the Scottish titles, we go from mountain to mountain. That Hikarangi mountain is the father of Taranaki, which is Raki, and South Island, which is Aoraki, right? And Chatham Islands, that's where the Moriori come from. So that was their own country. They bought those names, Waitangi and Turanga, Gisborne, and Hikurangi, from there to here, not from here to there. The Crown put Ngāti Whātua in Auckland, and I just put the names in the hat, and I'll pull the names out like Manukau and Parapara, and I said, well, who owns this? And you'll see who jumps. And I said, who owns this name Waitai? And you only see a Waitai get up. You won't see anybody else getting up to claim that name in front of a Maui crown. You see? So our oath is the deeds of truth. That's what the Scottish write in their oath say. They do not practice deeds of truth. So they can't tell the truth. You can see the way they're running America for the Queen, to hook all the titles with the King's title, which is our title. Yeah, they're using our flag because this government and its Governor General and the Prime Minister lets the Queen use it without us knowing what it means. It is the only money-making flag in the world. It is a bank, trading bank, money-making machine. No, they already set it up. They had it all set up. They're just playing a game of myths. All they do is collect the information. These Scottish right people, that's not the church. That's the Scottish land surveyors. You see, then you got the church title. That's another one. You see, so they got the title, the paper instrument. We got the titles of truth, and as a native landowner, but see, because they are the only ones that can make money out of instruments, not the land, instruments. You see? The instrument is the law on the land. So we got our instruments to go with their instruments. You see? So all it needs is to sign it, then go and see that police fellow up there, liaison officer, and tell the police, look, stand out of the road, we're going to take Cook Street. That's 2.5 billion straight off. That goes into our coffers. I explained it in the video because everybody knows. Yeah?
Are you sending me, is it going to be online when you send me the information?
Yeah, I'm because it's screened straight off Facebook as evidence in the court.
I'll be able to
Yeah. You've got the video, the YouTube. It's YouTube. And the videos are YouTube, and the documents are straight pictures. You can blow them up, right? You can blow and read them, right? Because they're small. Everything's squashed onto a page. But we can write any way we like. But Manahi's going to redraft the documents for the court. So I've told him he will draft up the writ warrant to take to the court and send it off. He'll send it off to open the pathway for you fellas and me to go to Westminster, straight in. We're going to fill the void because they'll need this flag now, because they're starting to lose their way. Because the Queen and the Rothschild and the Pope and all their bad people, bad things, getting worse now online, they are the ones that are causing war with all this money that they're making out of this flag. Right? And they're getting away with it because no one has challenged them and no one can inquire in their court. You see? I think you know how it works now, but it'll be a simple process of administering their administration in Wellington. That you leave them there to run their people as debtor, and all we do is pluck them off one by one. So all I needed from you, it doesn't have to be now, was which land block for your own business where you are living up there, around that area. Because Kingy's taking that B3 block at Waitangi, at the back, because I've got all the titles, I've got all the original titles there. So it doesn't matter, we're going for all the land, but it's where you want to set yourself up. I'm taking Cornwall Park, because Mohi wanted the Parliament there for this native government. That's your fellas' business. So that's where we went up One Tree Hill to claim the whole of Auckland, and Ngāti Whātua, that fella Tibble, got on the road all the time, and they couldn't refute all the affidavits I had and everything. We've gone through that process. It just proves that we were there to do that, and no one has refuted anything online. You see? So I've given them notice, about 28 days now, notice, to refute what I'm saying. So I take it up to Waitangi when we have the meeting on the 19th and 20th, then swear in front of each other, and that's the end of them. You see, because they've been warned long enough. In these past 3 years, a bit at a time. It's not their business how long it takes, it's our business. So what I'm doing here is just like I'm doing at Rangitukia, plucking off one at a time, like the certificate itself, because those are all Scottish titles. So we've got the right to use them, because we don't have titles like that. The paper itself, right, is the title. So we'll pluck off one bit of land, chop a bit off at a time, because we've got an overall of the whole country anyway. And I've gone out the 500 mile zone because I did the foreshore and seabed. I've done all that inside that title. So whatever you say and the chiefs, the Paramount say, goes. All we're doing is seizing Manukau's title. No one else can do that because they are not a Freemason, and I know how the Freemason works. You see, I go to talk to the Freemasons to make a deal. You see? If they leave when they have their re-election, if they leave Britain, then I go to the Prime Minister will be in charge, and the Navy will be in charge of that those instruments. And so the instruments will then default back to us, the contract partner, and the Navy, the First Lord of the Sea. Philip Jones. That's our legal partner, him. You see, it's the Navy that are over here that's corrupting our Navy over there. Yeah, it's just Navy. I've been warning them all along. That fellow Martin, John Martin. I've been warning, and the other one before that, I've been warning them to not tamper with our contract. That's how I won my case in Auckland, with a video.
Yes.
When I said to my barrister, "Oh, tell the judge I want to have a talk to him," and then the judge said, "No, there's no need. It's all on YouTube." Then I used the YouTube from then on to win the case, because the CIB lost. They'll lose any case against me now.
Well done.
Yeah, because you know why? Because I've got you guys.
Yeah.
And you fellas look after the land, I look after the bank and the pound note.
Beautiful.
Okay, did you got that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
so I'll send this email a little bit later. I'm just finalising everything now. I've got all the videos together that explains everything, right up to date. I've just made those videos, and everybody's looking at them now. So you'll get those and those documents. Okay? And you get plenty of time to read them before the hui. And Kingy's already got it already now. He says, "You're onto something, mate." So he's just leaving it to run. There's no need to battle anybody. This is just business. Okay?
Lovely.
Okay then.
Lovely, John.
Okay. We'll see you later, Bundy.
Okay then. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, that's Bundy. Bundy Waitai. He is the native grand jury, King's Bench grand jury, trial, court, head judge. Okay, he's the head judge. He's in charge of the Te Marae, King's Bench Native Court, and in charge of the Waitangi, King's Bench Native Grand Jury Trial Court. And also he is the head of the Te Ika Marae, Te Hapua up north. He's the head of that Native Grand Jury Court. Okay, or Native Court, put it that way. So he is taking the paramount chief's title of his family, and so he understands he's got it, you see. He's got it. He's got it. It doesn't take much to sink in once. See, they not really familiar with how it works, because this is sworn to secrecy of the Scottish rights. I'm just saying, in my time on this planet Earth, that the Scottish gentry, the Scottish G-E-N-T-R-Y, Scottish gentry are land speculators. Okay, they're the speculators of land that market out with rulers and pens and papers and things, and survey instruments to market, to make instruments for mortgage for the bank. So they are the ones who are taking all the information gathering. They are the information gatherers. I cut my finger, that's why I put the thing on. I just put it on to stop it opening up. They are the information gatherers who pick up the information, then put it onto documents, then put seals on it, and all their little marks and pieces, to claim that land. Well, it so happens that those are copyright, patent right paper. They are paper of the Westminster government that they work for. If the Scottish think that they can take them with them, because they were done in Edinburgh with the Queen Victoria and Queen Elizabeth and her husband, Prince Philip. He's been the Commander-in-Chief of the Royal Navy, who are the ones with the surrogate kings that sail around the world, acting on behalf of the king as a surrogate king, the same as I'm doing now, acting as a surrogate king for the Manukau Company, registered company that the Scottish put together in Edinburgh, Scotland. You see? So we're claiming that Manukau title company and all its foundation, all its commercial private contract business through this flag, because the Scottish don't have a flag of that King William IV, King William III. They don't have this flag with these symbols on it, and this symbol. If you're watching what I'm saying, watch my lips, not my teeth. I'm saying I'm here standing for this flag and speaking for King William III and King William IV and their Admiralty private contract, banks, finance, investments, land titles, the lot. The Scottish and Donald Trump, you're watching this video, I'm saying to you, you are a Freemason as much as Paramount Chief Mohi Te Mati Manukau IV was a Freemason for 50 years. You'll see on this writ warrant, the 42-page writ warrant, you better read it, and Karen Hudes, you better read this 42-page writ warrant, and the 15 pages, plus 3 more pages, 18 pages, with the 3 additional pages of President Rodriguez Duterte of Philippines, where all that gold is buried, okay? And he's using a writ warrant, and I'm guessing it's come out of this King's flag of Admiralty, because that's the only one in Westminster that can do a writ warrant for his country, all the native countries that have been taken over by Queen Victoria and King George III and the father of King William IV and King George IV and King Ernest Augustus I. Our king is King Ernest Augustus V, reigning monarch, King of Britain, UK, Hanover, Aotearoa, New Zealand and Pacific Islands, and the Commonwealth countries of the world. 250 countries of this free passage through the world flag. 1834 flag of Clendon. Refa Manukau, Chief King Beaumaris II, and Rogan. Manukau, Rogan, and Wānoa, Tiki Tiki, East Cape. There, those names on the titles. Okay, so I'm representing the Maui Memorial, standing in London, Brussels, France, New York, Washington DC, Chile, South Island Dunedin, North Island Auckland, as the mana whenua title to the world, with this flag, with the 4 corners of the world, 8-point star, 4 corners of the world, King William III, the creator of the Bank of England, the creator of the pound note, sterling, and the creator of the acts of writs of warrants to seize prized possessions, King's royal revenue around the world. And King Ernest Augustus were petitioning in the meeting up at Waitangi on the 19th and 20th. We're petitioning King Ernest Augustus V to continue the sovereignty of King William IV. In Salic law forbids a queen or woman from succeeding to the throne in Westminster. So we're putting the king back into his rightful place in contract with us. And he's live. King Ernest Augustus V is live at 63, and his successor and assigned son, Prince Regent Ernest Augustus, he's 33 this year. Okay, so we've got that oath to them and to our chiefs have gone by, Manukau, Refa Manukau, on the land titles with Rogan, Clendon, okay, and Wānoa, Reverend Wānoa, and Tiki Tiki, 1831. I said to Bundy, you heard on the video, I'm explaining to him those dates, periods, 1830, King William IV reign, monarch, realms from 1830 to 1837. Now, in 1831, in 1830, we'll start from 1830, Clendon started selling lands as a magistrate, real estate, crown, agent for King William IV. He sold land from 1830 right to 1838, but we are only picking 1830 to 1834 when this flag became the flag of New Zealand. 1834, 6 years to 1840. It still is the flag of New Zealand because no one can change it. It's extant forevermore in statute law in Westminster Parliament. To us, the Moai Crown, Paramount Chief, Manukau, and these successor 4 Paramount Chiefs appointed. They appointed me, Mohi Manukau appointed me from the Freemasons to be his executor and administrator of his business. He had no land because he was selling Manukau land all over the country. He was selling Manukau land through these Scottish Rites and Freemasons. The Masonic Lodge in Helensville. That's where he was working with John Rogan, his uncle, married Mariah Manukau. There, in that court, and Whakawhetira Court, in the East Coast, to Tiki Tiki, on my own wānoa, Rahui Marae, Rahui Marae. You know what the word Rahui means? A ban over everything, all the resources of the land to stop anybody from doing anything. So that's that marae. Rahui is a wānoa, urupa, burial ground, memorial place. And it has the church across the road on the hill, the St. Mary's Church. Okay, so I'm saying the dates now. Clendon sold land straight from Britain, legally, from the King, without having a sovereignty here of this country from the King yet in 1830. So in a way he was selling it illegally, but he had an authority to sell the King's lands and conquer them with the military. They had to conquer it first. They started with the church in 1831. They started with the church in Tiki Tiki with Clendon. Captain James Reedy Clendon went into Hokianga first, then across to Russell, Kororareka, Okiata, set up the native court later, but in this time he didn't have a court or a flag, this country. He went from there down to Hicks Bay. He landed his ship of Admiralty, HMS Fortitude, went from Kororareka down to Auckland Province, set up his native court in Auckland, and down to Hicks Bay. From there he walked around the East Cape on my land blocks. I'm saying my land blocks because everybody else can say their own story. I'm talking about a wānoa and my tupunas. Uetaha. Okay, Uetaha. Tupunas was the chief of all the Potikiru Kia Waiapu area I'm talking about. Okay, all that area of land. From Rangitukia to Poroporo Valley, up to the back of Whakaangiangi, and across to Pōtaka and Rotten Point. All that area in Cape Runway, all that area is Uetaha on my ancestor to Mauai. That's the Mauai land straight to Raiatea and Rapa Nui, right? This was after we got there. The Cook Island people were already there. Okay, my Kaika family was already there in Tiki Tiki, Rangitukia, Ruatoria. Okay, so we married into the Kaika Cook Island family, and our Tahitian family from Rapa Nui and Raiatea settled there. And 1831, the British white man first went to Tiki Tiki. Clendon and his lot came later, but the immigrant missionaries and bishops went there and set up that church to start those native titles in Whakawhitira. At 1831, that's the first native titles through the church register, birth certificate. See, from birth of the ship, B-E-R-T-H, to birth, B-I-R-T-H, birth, your registered name onto their church register title as a land share. In the land titles, these Scottish people were drawing all over our land and gathering information like this from the church to make those titles that we're claiming back the instruments that they did and the money they made from our land through those certificates. Okay, so that's what I'm saying here clearly, that 1831 is a landmark legacy of my own Wānoa Maui Crown title to the Maui standing in London. It got there over 100 years. It's been hidden, and they took it in 1868 and put it in London because they found out all about its mana to the world. Okay, so 1831 to 1834, those church titles, and they married into the native land titles with the chiefs. Okay, we didn't fight at the East Cape. All the fighting was done up north and the Waikato area, where they used this flag of war. This is a declaration of war flag. They used their own war of admiralty to conquer the lands and seize them and confiscate them of all those warring fighters who were putting up a fight against the British military. Okay, so we didn't fight. We got 93% of our land still in the whole of the Te Tairehawhiti boundary area. I'm saying to Bundy that we will slice off what we need and leave everybody else to carry on in their businesses, and they'll be subject to this flag and its jurisdiction of what we say on Waitangi Marae, King's Bench Native Grand Jury Trial Court. And what we say is the four main chiefs will be speaking for the Manukau title claim, and there's nothing anybody can do about it or say about it, because we have our writs to cover anybody who tampers or comes in as a third party to interfere with our titles straight to Edinburgh in Scotland under the Freemasons Acts there to Westminster. Okay, so there's a reason why Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton and all of the Americans and Israel and the Rothschilds are playing this dirty game of myths. They make stories up that are not true. They are deceiving because that's their law. Their oath does not have truth in it. They do not have truth in it. They can't swear in front of you to say they own something or they've got this. They can only say their legal papers. They are only concerned of bettering themselves. That's their oath, to better themselves, nobody else, themselves. So they're sitting on our native lands of our ancestors, bettering themselves and their own financial investment interests as threats against our national interests of common law king's people. They're using our king's law for their own private interests. Elite, they get the bill. Now, I'll just warn everybody that these sheriffs who wear a hat like this and a shirt with a coat of arms of King William III, King William IV and St. Patrick, St. Patrick here and King William in the middle with his coronation crown on top and the 8 points of the 8 wakas in the Pacific Islands, 8 countries in the Pacific Islands, and the other is the 8 kings, 4 of which is in the corner here, 4 kings, King George III, the father of King William IV, King Ernest Augustus I, and King George IV. Okay, those 4 kings are in the corner there. Okay, the 8 kings are in this big one here with the 6th, George I, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th King Ernest Augustus and King William. That makes 8 points. Okay, you got that? 8 points on this big red cross. Okay, that's taking into account where the Pope gets his admiralty from, is from the King. The King, William IV, owns Brussels, Netherlands, or Holland, Dutch, Zeeland here, owns here, the King owns that country and its World Bank, World Court. We own the World Court in this contract. We're tied to that World Court to take anybody into that court who plays around or interferes with our titles on the lands the Scottish put together. We're going to cut a deal with them if they are so willing to but that'll have to go through Westminster. The authority will come from the Prime Minister of Westminster government, Theresa May. I made a note to her that she is our partner through the Navy, and the Navy back to the Magistrate Court to the surrogate king, which is myself. And these chiefs are acknowledging that to Mohi. Mohi is deceased, and I've taken over his mantle, which he has given to me, not his family. Doesn't know anything about this because this is to do with Freemasons and commercial trading bank business with this flag and nothing else. It's nothing to do. The land still belongs to the Manukau family and all those people on the lands, but this is the commercial title above the land on a piece of paper. That's all it is. A piece of paper like this, birth certificate, right? Birth certificate, whakapapa, all these chiefs here, families and everything inside this is an instrument. This is the instrument that goes over the Scottish rights with Mohi Manukau, with his Freemasons, 50 years there, okay, his regalia, that I'm carrying his authority and administering his inheritance to what he got out of it. Okay, so he sold the Manukau lands, and as far as I'm concerned, all his lands Manukau Parapara lands, in that title of instrument paper. So they made a lot of money in the 183 years this flag has been going, and the chiefs up in Ngāpuhi have been holding on to it all those years, not knowing all of what I'm just telling you now. You're privy to now. If I didn't tell you, you would not know. No one would know, and it'll just carry on going. They'll just keep killing people, and we're going to stop all that madness with this flag because it is legal now. We have made it legal in the Waitangi marae and King's Bench Court, and also in Te Tii marae. On the 6th of February every year we have an anniversary for this flag of its 183 years of commercial trading, and that'll be on the same day as the Waitangi Treaty. We'll have that, and we'll have a big setting for that in the paddock beside the Popo Rangatira, Tau Rangatira, like how we did in the tent. We'll get better than a tent at some stage, but that's the way we did it. We're going to do that again on the Haho B7 block at Rangatira on Beach Road with Rapataka and our Toi Karako boat, the Nukutere. We're going to seize all of that and put it back into its rightful hapu ownership and our trading. That's our title to the maunga, hikarangi, and taken off Ngāti Pro will get the bill. They'll get the bill, they're the Crown Corporation on the Queen's sovereignty side. The Queen's gone and abandoned them and this country and all the other countries. She's abandoned and gone to the EU Parliament for her own financial investment interests. And if she's taken our wealth out of the HM Treasury, then I'm going with these 4 Paramount chiefs, myself and my assistants, to go and seize it back. Seize back the trust, the Queen Victoria Trust, the 1848 Queen Victoria Trust, because that's still financing the Queen Vic High School here in Auckland. It's always financed that, and the parks and reserves paid out of that account. And so I went to England before to go and make a claim. It was put in front of me, but that got hijacked, and the CIB here found it to be fraud from that end. They couldn't do anything about it here. I'm going to do it over there. So I'll be going back again with these chiefs to sort that out as well. And that sets the pattern of the banking structure inside this flag that I'm doing with the Moai Powerhouse Bank and the registered company there in London, the Moai Powerhouse Group Limited Company with 1 billion shares already registered, ready to go. And the company here now, Tuewa Altair Limited, it's got 1/1 trillion shares registered here as a levy debtor company against all the Crown Corporation's businesses in the world. Will be debted in that company here as 1 billion shares, 1 billion shares for each of the 250 countries under this flag right through the world, free passage. Okay, so I'm making these bold statements on this video as citation fact against as deeds of truth title against the Scottish Rite Freemasons, deeds of untruth and deeds of myth and deeds of fraud and deception of their terminology and their business etiquette, or their profile is showing up as being violent, cause of war, and treason, and all the rest of the laws they're breaking in their Queen Elizabeth side of their commercial trading. We're going to seize all that off them with the whole people of the world who follow us on Moai Crown. In New Zealand, the Maori, unfortunately, you are in that side as levy debtors, and we're going to leave you there. You're quite welcome with anybody else living in New Zealand to come into this side under the King's umbrella, which is safe, than being beaten up on that side. You're going to get beaten up from this side. Once people know, I'm making this public because it's no good in my head. I can't forever hold a secret of Mohi Manukau's forever and ever. I can't hold his secret in my head because it is in my head. All his things are here. All his Freemason stuff is here. And all his titles are here. And that's the end of it. I'm putting it online so that you'll all see it. And it's disclosed. And the courts can't get anybody to defend themselves against it. Okay? I'm doing a trial by media, online, on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and Google. And my own private website, mypowerhouse.com. You'll see things there. We've got 80 Facebook sites and about 950 YouTube videos explaining things. The latest videos are about 8 or 10. They'll explain where we are up to this point in time. Moai Crown versus Maori Iwi Crown authority on this country and the Pacific Islands. So the King of Hawaii is coming. He's quite welcome to go straight